Two things. I mean, I myself had a big team and I was doing manufacturing analytics. That has been my career, right? So
Yep.
I'm reflecting on my own pain points. So I was really, really trying to get to, uh, um, you know, get to solution as quickly as possible. That's what really everybody wants, right? And everybody wants. So if you ask me two constants, that's what I internally at Facilis, that's what we always say, and I try to stick to that message. I don't think that any manufacturer anywhere in the world, in any industry, will wake up in the morning, come to me and say, hey, give me a solution that really gives me insights, probably in days, weeks later when I have a problem. Or give me a solution that requires an army of resources, data scientists, data engineers, IT folks, because I don't have work for them. So give me a solution that is daunting, right? Nobody wants that. So those are the two constants that I believe will stay with us for so long, right? They're not going to change. The first one, they really wanted, and everybody who works on the front line, from the ground and up, right, from the floor and up, they, when they have a problem, they want to access the billions and trillions of data points that they're collecting from their sensors that are being historized. And we've been really, really good at this in manufacturing over the past decade. Data has been growing exponentially. IoT sensors are becoming cheaper, effective to deploy more than any time before. But we're very good at this data acquisition. We store it somewhere in a historian somewhere, whatever type of historian we have. And then we tap into a fraction of a percent of it. So people want to get to that data as quickly as possible. And you've got a lot of very smart people who understand their processes very well. Those are the SMEs that we have, right? They went to chemical engineering programs, they went to mechanical, industrial, electrical, to become experts in their domains. They're not data scientists. They will not be data scientists. You can teach them certain skills, yes, but they're not going to write code, and that's not their competitive advantage, right? And they're sitting there with a big barrier between them and the tons of data that they're collecting, and they're still doing it the old ways that we've been doing, right, for decades, right? You get like a snapshot of the data, a very tiny bit, if you can, from the historian, and then you work your way with a bunch of assumptions. And a lot of times, unfortunately, we make decisions on the front line. So over 90% of our decisions are made based on either previous experiences or the most senior guy that we know who trained us, that we can call him, right? And a lot of times even it's gut feeling driven, because they need to make a faster decision. They can't wait. Yes, if you have a data scientist, for those companies that do have them, this is not to bash data scientists. They're amazing. I mean, my team, I built a team from the ground up that was mainly centered around data scientists. But the problem is, these guys, they need to make a decision right now, because else they're wasting tens of thousands of dollars, right, in their shift. So they wanted to do something about it. So what they end up doing is, okay, I'll fire a request to the corporate capability, or the data scientist sitting next to me, and he's gonna do his thing, but he needs time to do that. He doesn't have the tools that allow him to really tap into data very quickly and then turn them into insights. It'll take him a while. I mean, a correlation exercise, a very simple one, right? Typically would take you, a few hours. Somebody needs to come in, understand what the data that you're asking about, and then they go pull the data from those sensors, from wherever the historian is, and then they run their analytics, their correlation, algo, and then come back with the findings, right? And still it's partial findings, because that's basically just statistics, right? So that barrier between the decision makers and people who understand their process and the data, this is number one value proposition. You're basically removing that. You're allowing those folks who understand their process to access the data whenever they need to access it, and run cutting edge algorithms and machine learning and AI, fancy AI that is floating around, but you're now putting it to use. They can access it without having to spell the word algorithm. They just ask the question they want to ask. and off you go. They get the insight they need, and they can visualize, build their visuals in seconds that they desire, right? So that's number one. Number two, the platform itself. If you offer me a platform that is, I mean, in my past life, I was seeking something like this, to be frank. Something that really is the equivalent of a data engineer plus a data scientist plus an ML ops engineer plus an SME, right? All in one platform at the fingertips of every single user that I have in my team. I would never say no to something like this, right?
Yeah.
So, that in itself can save a mid-sized manufacturer the platform with those 4 FTEs, can save you at least over $3 million a year in just FTEs, let alone efficiencies and improvements in the process, right? So time to solution, time to insight that leads to solution. We cut that down dramatically from weeks, if you're super lucky and you have a team, to minutes and seconds, right? And then second, the amount of FTEs that we reduce. You're going to get those 4 FTEs available to every single user. So our platform is open to everybody in the organization to use.